does not score, there will be no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. Alex Wallow, the pattern of Hearns' recent fights, sensational starts in the first round. He has not always, however, been able to finish his opponents.
Thomas used to set up his big right-hand power with the left jab. Recently, especially in the Schuler fight, he has set it up with a left hook underneath.
First round of 12 as Thomas Hearns tries to become the 12th man in boxing history to win 3 separate world championships.
The thing to look for right off the bat is Thomas quick? Is he as quick as he once was, carrying all of this weight? As you can see, it's not flab.
It looks sensational. That is not always the proof of the pudding.
You saw the Andries jab and then the Hearns jab. The Hearns jab landed and it was quicker. Andries has traditionally been a slow starter. As we've said a couple of times already, Hearns is a very fast starter.
It's probably been a long time since Thomas Hearns has faced a fighter as awkward and unorthodox as Dennis Andries. He will throw punches from various different angles, few of them classic in form.
Again, Hearns wins the battle of the jab. So far, I think Thomas is respecting the Andries power. He has not tried to dig down with that left hook to the body because that leaves him open to Andries' powerful right hand.
And this is not the kind of fast start that Hearns has shown in recent bouts as Andries drives him back into the ropes.
With that right hand, it sometimes looks amateurish, it's sometimes lunging. That time it caught Hearns at the end of the punch and didn't do too much damage, but he can hit.
There you see the kind of unorthodox blow which typifies Andries' style. Looping punches.
Exactly right. He is vulnerable straight up the middle because he does loop almost all his punches with both hands.
Hearns trying to deliver the right, but the message wasn't there.
Thomas pacing himself a little bit more than we might have expected. Boxing a little bit more. There's the good right hand.
Right hand.
And Andries hangs on.
And that has been the first legitimate event of this first round. The one Thomas Hearns right hand toward the end. Between WBC light heavyweight champion Dennis Andries in the black trunks and Thomas Hearns of Detroit fighting in his hometown in Cobo Arena and wearing the gold trunks. A largely uneventful first round was defined in the last 12 seconds by a Hearns right hand.
Just saw Andries try 5 jabs. There's 6 and 7. None of them have landed. But that really is something new for him. He just, up until his first title offense against Tony Simpson, he really didn't have a jab at all. He's trying to develop that. It's a heck of a time at age 33 as a world champion to try to develop a jab.
Indeed, he has adopted a much more classic pose, at least for the first round and a half, against Hearns than we had seen in some of his previous bouts against Tony Simpson, TNT Brody, and J.B. Williamson, the man he beat to win this title. Staggered by the right hand.
We talked about Andries being wide open. He missed a punch and Hearns countered with the right hand beautifully and hurt him. Thomas is taking his time. He should try some body punches.
And now we can begin to judge Hearns' punching power as a light heavyweight.
We can also judge if Thomas has learned how to finish an opponent. He's had trouble in his last 2 fights finishing. He better be careful also because Andries is still dangerous. right hand by Hearns.
Okay, offside. No, okay, offside, no miss. And you to 100, okay.
There was a left hand to the body that missed. Good enough again, the right hand. Thomas got hurt with that, counter by Andries.
And you saw Hearns grab immediately, grabbing Andries by the neck. He was stunned by the right hand. Andries appears to be regaining some of his wits and his legs. Hearns has blood around the corner of his left eye.
Thomas holding and hitting there. That is attack and complaining about the head.
Okay.
If it becomes a brawl, that is not to Hearns' advantage.
At this weight, Jim, Thomas Hearns may not still have the ability to move and use the boxing skills he did at lighter weights.
Andries has made it out of the second round. Arena. Thomas Hearns, in his last fight on October 17 against Doug DeWitt, was cut over the right eye, and largely due to great work on the part of Ralph Citro, his cut man, was able to last the fight and win a unanimous decision. Now he has been cut in the second round. We are yet to determine whether or not it was the result of a punch or a butt. But Citro has already had to go to work today.
And Ralph Citro told Thomas in the corner, "Don't worry, Tommy, it's not bad. Don't worry about it." But you see Hearns trying to box here and move, maybe perhaps to protect the eye, perhaps he thinks it's the best strategy against this awkward opponent. The good news in that second round was Thomas did hurt Andries. The bad news was he got hurt and he got cut.
The third round begins to assume a different complexion, as Alex pointed out, Hearns is more the boxer.
Watch how open Andries is. He looks almost like a Kronk fighter, carrying his left hand so low. He's just wide open. And Thomas has been successful with counterpunches. There, he got hit low and he retaliated. And this referee is 10 feet away from the action and walking away. He is not in control at this point, Isaac Herrera of Panama.
Well, he certainly allowed Andries to hold at will for a while in the second round before finally stepping in. And he's not even in the picture, as you see. We want to alert our local stations along the line. There will be a station break coming up at the end of this round. Station break in a minute and a half.
This Detroit crowd loves Thomas Hearns, but they are a critical crowd. If Thomas does not satisfy them with the kind of spectacular action he's provided them with over the years, they will get on his case. He knows that. And I think he's partially tailored his style to satisfy the crowd. He talked at the top of the show about how much he felt that he disappointed people against Hagler.
And he was booed against Mark Medal in Las Vegas last year.
And booed against Doug DeWitt most recently in his most recent fight here in Detroit. I think Thomas should ignore the fans and try to win the fight the best way he can. And I think that's at least to try to use his superior skill. To hypnotize Andries, I really don't think it's going to work.
Good jab.
Right now, Thomas is trying to dictate the pace of this fight, and he's being successful. Andries is waiting for him. He just missed that right hand on the point of the chin.
And in the third round, Andries has not gotten a glove near the cut on Thomas Hearns' left eye. Station break coming up. Must system, you would have to think that Thomas Hearns has won the first 3 rounds. Cutman Ralph Citro again went to work on the cut at the corner of Hearns' left eye at the end of the third round. It is a small cut.
The Hearns jab landed. Andries 2 jabs and a right did not. And Dennis Andries is right now waiting too much. He should be trying to turn this fight into a brawl. He should be trying to mug Thomas Hearns. He should be lunging at him. Instead, he's trying to out-jab him, and he's just not going to do that. Caught Thomas with a good jab there.
And he caught him on the side of the face where the cut is, and the blood has begun to flow just a little bit again. Again, we repeat, it does not look like a serious, deep cut.
I think Thomas is fighting a very conservative fight right now. Trying a right hand there, but he is not opening up. He's content just to flick the jab, try to catch Andries coming in. I think for two reasons. One, the cut, but also the punch he caught in the second round has made him respect Andries' power. There's a good body punch, perhaps a little bit low.
And Andries, by moving forward and throwing punches now, is giving Hearns the opportunity to counter in this round, and he's doing so very effectively.
Right, but he should be trying to get in and smother. He shouldn't come in and allow himself to be hit coming in, but he should just come in and try to smother Thomas's superior reach and work on the inside. Andries has a good uppercut. He got caught again there coming in, Jim. If you think Andries has the look of a desperate fighter in exchanges like that, he looks that way all the time. That's just the way he fights.
Indeed, he looked exactly that way in winning a decision over J.B. Williamson to win the WBC World Light Heavyweight Championship. He is brought into the ring today. But in that fight, and in his fights with Brody and Simpson, he was often able to put his opponents on the ropes and maul them. He has not had Hearns near the ropes since the first round.
Andries' head is coming in. It didn't connect then, but when he comes in those rushes, his head is a battering ram.
Round 4, another round in which Thomas Hearns has been able to stand at the center of the ring and control the action. Thomas Hearns against champion Dennis Andries, WBC light heavyweight title at stake. Hearns trying to become the 12th man in boxing history to win 3 separate world championships. And some of the names of the men who have done that are indeed important in the history of the sport. People like Barney Ross, Henry Armstrong, Stanley Ketchel, and Bob Fitzsimmons, Emil Griffith, Roberto Duran, Alexis Arguello. Hearns tries to join them today.
Thomas keeping Andries out at the end of that jab. Thomas is doing a lot of scoring himself, occasionally flicking his own jab and occasionally catching Andries lunging in. He seems content right now to do that.
In case you have joined us late, we remind you this is Thomas Hearns' first trip ever as a light heavyweight.
He is in unknown territory, and he's taking a conservative path through this unknown territory. There he moves in. Now he looks like he's trying to drill that left hook underneath and maybe come across with the right hand. Now he's stalking his man.
Regaining the confidence which he showed, particularly in the early stages of round 2, when he hurt Andries with the right hand. Now he later rocked himself.
No, outside. Don't you? That's all right. I like him. Come here, buddy.
You hear the referee Herrera's broken English and giving instructions to the fighters. One of the WBC rules call for a neutral official, Jim, but it's hard to understand why they couldn't get an English-speaking official.
Outside, Tommy. Don't you?
2 English-speaking fighters.
Okay.
Referee once again is Isaac Herrera of Panama. He has not been much of a factor up to this point.
Okay.
Oh, low blow.
Okay, forget it. No accident. Okay.
Thomas says, let him hit you low and you forget it.
Then say it's okay, right?
Okay, outside. Don't shoot, Adrian, don't shoot.
Okay, again.
Very good fighter.
Another round in which Andries has not been able to do what he ought to be doing, trying to turn the fight into a brawl.
And that time, he made Andries dismissed with the right hand, but he didn't have the reaction to come back with his own right counter.
This championship fight is scheduled for 12 rounds, and we begin round 6. On my card up to this point, Alex, Hearns has won the first 5 rounds.
That's correct. There hasn't been a lot in the last 3 rounds, but I think Thomas has won them. He hasn't, however, taken over the fight and dominated and been as a... There's a right hand!
Well, they might have just taken it over there.
He might have taken his 3rd world title. Herrera talking to Andries. Andries gutsy. Says he wants to continue. Body shot.
Hearns is very slow going to a neutral corner. Now Herrera sends him to his own corner.
That's correct. He went to a neutral corner and Herrera directed him out of the corner, which is totally wrong.
So that count was about 5 seconds late as the 3rd knockdown. There is no 3 knockdown rule in effect.
But Dennis Andries will try to get up, but he is in no condition to continue with little less than 2 minutes to go in the fight.
Herrera's going to let him go again, I think. No 3 knockdown rule.
Herrera should stop this fight.
This is absolutely brutal.
Andries is just being held up by his guts and his pride, his determination, but he's taking unnecessary punishment. Tommy cannot line him up to hit him with the finishing punch.
That is the 4th knockdown of the round. Hearns goes again to a neutral corner.
Herrera is saying that was not a knockdown.
That's unbelievable.
That is just total incompetency. A fighter went down from a punch.
This is a grossly incompetent job of refereeing by Isaac Herrera of Panama.
Tommy, don't punch, Tommy. Come here, outside, outside, outside.
Meanwhile, at ringside, the WBC officials are desperately trying to get Herrera's attention.
Again, he sends Hearns to his own corner,
saying it was not a knockdown and he has to clean Andries' gloves. Now the WBC official has stopped trying to get Herrera's attention.
You see the clock, 30 seconds to go in round 6. Oh, this is brutal.
We talked about a tremendous chin. Let me tell you something. Andries just took a tremendous right hand. And Thomas has expended a lot of energy here.
That was a right hand on which Hearns loaded up, took a step back, stepped forward, and delivered flush on the jaw. And somehow Andries stayed up.
Tommy, you too, don't you? Okay, on the corner.
We are halfway through the bout, and we'll stay right here. We're not going anywhere as you follow Dennis Andries, the world light heavyweight champion, back to his corner.
And Emmanuel Stewart is now talking to Herrera. I can't tell what he was talking about, but he was having some very hard words with Herrera.
Dennis Andries in his corner, along with trainer Ken Bogner and Angelo Taverna. And let's take a look back, Alex, at the action. First, the first knockdown.
Watch for the Hearns right. There it was. And Andries just went flat and his head banged on the canvas. We said at the top of the show that he is a determined, gutty, durable performer, and that's really about all he's got. And that's all he has in the fight right now. His only hope is that Thomas Hearns will punch himself out. And Thomas has done that in the past as a middleweight. He looks there like he's trying to get air.